Internet Vikings World of Experts.
Thank you, and thank you all for joining us here. Everyone that's affected by this change will be here, and really looking forward again for the opportunity to present our view and what we have done to solve this, but also the challenges, but also the benefits that comes with this, with the changes that have happened in the throughout the last couple of months. But so we will divide the Q&A today with a small presentation. After that, we will do a Q&A session, and we have a lot of pre-submitted questions, but also we looking forward. If you have any spontaneous ones, please just write it in the chat below, and let's get going. So, the VMware licensing change. What does that mean, and what have happened? If we go back 110 days, I think it was a little bit over 100 days when Broadcom acquired VMware. And directly when they did, they set in motion a plan to shift to a subscription-based model, to shift to a model that focus on larger partners, and also shift to, in my opinion, also in the end, what I think we'll see, a better product. I will come back to that later, because there is a lot of changes happening, and as we all know, when there is changes happening, there is a lot of uncertainties, and that's what I've been, especially for the last 2 months, because there have been so much uncertainties and changes and so on. But I would say the biggest change is that VMware discontinued the perpetual licensing model, which meant that you bought a license for a server and you kept it for 1 year or for 10 years. And they've skipped that and focused only on subscriptions. Which then enables that you would have updates and security updates and support and so on. But I will come back to that later. And then evaluate the current licenses. What do you need to know? What we have today in the new model, the new system, is, like I said, the discontinuation of the perpetual licenses. It's the biggest change. There have been a lot of people using the old perpetual license to make it to work with VMware, to have a step into the VMware environment and to the VMware ecosystem. And that then now transitions into a subscription-based model. The big change is that from December last year or January, that you cannot renew support contracts. You cannot get, if you have one, when there is an end date, after that you cannot renew it. You cannot renew security updates, support, and so on. That means that effectively, after your support agreement have ended, you won't have access to security updates. And that's a way to get to the subscription-based model, which, again, there is different tiers in it, and we will go through that later this webinar and see the different changes and different tiering of that. But I would say one thing is, like, plan ahead. If that support contract ends in November this year or beginning of next year, please do it right away. Do not sit and wait, because it's November is just 6 months away, and then you will sit there. Okay, how do we do it? How do we handle it? What partners can we work with, and so on. So please plan ahead. That's and see how you can move over from the perpetual licensing model to the new ones, because with that you can probably save money. You can probably save a lot of money if you do it in the right and controlled way, and start designing your infrastructure already today to be prepared for this change in licensing model. So if you look at the two major models, it's the VMware vSphere Foundation. It's called VVF. That is, if you have been a perpetual licensing model, that's probably where you would go. It starts as a very cheaper or price-efficient solution up to a more premium solution. It's called Essential Plus, up to the Foundation model. And I would say the big difference is that Essential Plus, the first and the lowest price model, that you can only do 3 servers. It's limited to 3 hosts, which means that you can use it for smaller clusters, you can use it for smaller workloads. And one thing to take with you here is that you cannot use the VVF to sell as a hoster. You cannot use that to sell hosting services. So us at Internet Vikings, we are not able to work with the VVF. We need to go on the VCF model. Also, the minimum 16 cores per socket. I will come back to that later, but that is for all, and for both of them, both the VVF and the VCF. Talking about the VCF model, the VMware Cloud Foundation, that's the more premium setup. It's included more or less all the features you need as a hoster, and what we as a hoster want to provide to our customers. Because in the end of the day, that's what we do. That's what we provide, and that's, if you look at VMware, they want to help hosters to compete with the large hyperscalers to build a competitive cloud product. And we do that together with VMware Broadcom, and it have enabled us to also be better in terms of pricing and setup. And again, you pay per core. You pay per core, minimum of 16 cores per socket. So if you have a server with 10 cores and a CPU with 10 cores, then you can only have those 10, but you need to pay for 16, as that's the minimum. Looking at extras, if you use some VVF, you are able to add more vSAN storage. If you work with a VCF, with your cores, there is a certain amount of terabytes of vSAN capacity included. But there is extras. You have the ALV and the load balancer, which is extra. There is other products also that you can add on extra to your to the DVF or the VCF. So in my opinion, there's a very clear model here. There's a very clear way forward. I will come back to that later, how we see the benefits of these two models. Talking about what everyone that haven't been invited into the VCF, because the VCF, you needed to have at least 3,500 cores. You needed to commit for that, and it's a lot of money. You needed to commit for it for 3 years, or 36 months, which I do understand. Not everyone can do it. And what we have done, or what VMware have done, is to add the white labeling. That we, as a VCF partner and a premier partner to Broadcom VMware, we can then resell this capacity to other partners. That's their white label solution. It's the benefits for everyone involved is that us and we as a premier partner are getting discounts from Broadcom and VMware. Those discounts we will then funnel down to the white label partner to see what we can do here, to see how we can work together with the partner. And it's also a lot simplified procurement. There is one way to do it. It's one way to buy the VCF capacity. Not as it was before. You can do it in so many different ways. and enhanced support. I think this is the biggest change from Broadcom VMware, because they've shifted from where everyone, all the VCPP partners, they've been out there just focused and just been able to send in level 1, level 2, and level 3 support cases. What they've changed is also that from now on, if you need a level 1 or level 2, have that kind of support case, then you should go through your white label partner, the reseller, in this case, to ask for that support. If it needs to be escalated to VMware, then the partner, the VCF partner, should do that, not the one using the service, which then enables VMware to have a more efficient support organization. And I think in the end of the day, that will probably be better, and it will then that people that don't require so much support, that have that kind of capabilities in-house, like we do at Internet Vikings, we will then, if we reach out to VMware, are able to get even better support. So I think this is the biggest question, and also what benefits is it here? Where do we as a hoster, an end customer that just using VMware as a way to build a more resilient cluster to work with a cloud setup, how do you benefit from it? And I would say the biggest change is that they removed this. It was so complicated, the product, the pricing, the SKU, the SKU model, to try to figure out what you bought, how you bought things, and so on. It was, and today it's so much easier. There's the VVF, there's the VCF. That's it. And that I would say it's a lot easier to compare pricing as an end customer. We have had issues at Internet Vikings with that we couldn't more or less compete with the customer about the customer, because they were on our competitor was proposing a perpetual licensing model. Maybe that wasn't updated. Maybe they used NSXV instead, and not the new VMware 8 that you should be running as of today. That was a lot of hassle for us, because we needed to educate the customer. Okay, you shouldn't go with a platform that's deprecated. You shouldn't go with a platform that's end of life. And now with this new model, with everyone that have enrolled with this subscription model will get security updates, they will get the support, and they are entitled to the new updates, which means that everyone will compete in the same terms. Which, in my opinion, it's a lot better for the end customer, because then you're not contracted with a hosting party that might not have upgraded their infrastructure and their security issues. So I would say the easy and the robustness is going up and will be increased because of this. That is the first part of this Q&A webinar, and really looking forward to hear. Like, there were a lot of people I recognized, a lot of people I talked to, but really looking forward to see what kind of questions you have and see where I can help you going forward. So is there any questions? We have from Magnus. Will there be any changes in support or maintenance offerings? I would say the support is that it needs to go through your partner. You can't have it direct to Broadcom VMware. That's, I would say is the biggest difference that we are seeing. And again, I think it's a good thing, because I think that will then enable Broadcom VMware to actually to the bigger partners, to the one that's more experienced. That's where we are able to become better as a community as a whole. So we have one pre-submitted question here. Is the VMware licensing apply for social casinos or sweepstakes casinos? Yes, it do applies for everyone. It do applies if you're hosting a website, if you're an e-commerce site, if you're doing a casino, sweepstake, doesn't matter. You will need to change to this new model. If it's tomorrow, because we're in the VCPP model, not tomorrow, but end of April, or when your perpetual support contract is expiring. So yeah, you do need to have it. Let's take another one. How does a VMware Premier partner ensure continuity and stability during migration? This is a good one, because during the migration, it's not that complicated. You need a few things. You need first to have the usage meter upgraded to 4.8, which is very easy. You need, via your white label partner, get new licensing keys that applies only for you. They are only for you, your setup, your network. And off you go. Of course, you need to have a contract with the white label partner and so on. But that's the end. That's what you need to migrate over to this new model. So it's not complicated. It's more an administrative setup than a technical one. Let's take the next one. How will this affect a simple use case where we do have access to a virtual cloud director with a single VM with multi-cores? It won't. It's super easy. For if you are buying if you are using the cloud director, buying that kind of capacity from a hosting provider like Internet Vikings, it shouldn't change. Nothing. You shouldn't even notice it at all, which is great. And that's what we as a hoster make sure that everyone that are using VMware will not see any difference because it's more a financial issue for us to handle on a financial level and partnership level with Broadcom. Are you seeing customers looking for VMware alternatives due to the cost increases? Some, of course. It's an interesting case because we're looking at, there's so many cases in terms of, is it a price increase or will it be neutral? In many of our cases, there is no real price increase, maybe like a few percentage, like a handful. That's the level of price increase we're seeing in average, maybe a little bit more, but it's not that much of a price increase for us as a hoster, which is, in my opinion, great, because there were a lot of people in the beginning, and we also this would be a lot of price, depending how you build your network and your setup, there will be a lot of increased cost because of it. But in the end of the day, as long as you have bigger clusters, multi-tenant clusters with, and actually have customers that are paying on the clusters, it works pretty well. But coming back to the question, yes, we have people looking at Proxmox and a lot of the other hypervisors out there. But still, I think this moving over to the VVF and VCF from VMware, it's not that commercially. In some cases, of course, some will have an increase of 50, 60, 70%, but most will probably have only an increase of a few percentage. So, but yes, there's a lot of talks about it, a lot of talks in Slack channels, Reddit threads, and so on. Let's take the next one. Will the new licensing model impact pricing for customers? No, not if you're a customer of Internet Vikings. Super easy. We have already calculated this. We will take the hit of that price increase and we will handle that for us. I know other competitors that have been using the perpetual licensing that might have other issues, but the good thing is that we were on the VCPP model, which enabled us to transition easy into this. How might this apply to an American state just starting iGaming? It won't. For us, we will provide a multi-tenant cluster in each and every state and are able to support that to our customers. So as a customer, you shouldn't see any difference with these changes. What is the current price per core? If I have got $1 for every time I got that question the last 2 months. It starts from the DVF Essential Plus for, I think, like $35 a core, up to the $350 a core for the VCF, and everything in between, depending what you need, how you need it, and how you pay for it, and so on. And what kind of relationship with a partner, if you're working via a premier partner, if you're buying it through a reseller, and so on, and what kind of discounts you have. So it's not one clear answer to it. The good thing, though, is that we have 5 models how to buy it today, which was like 20 plus previously. So it's a lot easier to work with it today. And really happy that so many people could join, and really looking forward to help everyone and also work with you, both as customers, as partners, white label partners, to see what we can do and if we can help you with this. And again, just reach out to me if you have on LinkedIn, on email, if there's any question, any thoughts, or anything regarding this change. Thank you very much for joining.
We are streaming to executives all around the world. We know what issues they face. Listen to business insights from our experts. This is Internet Vikings.